I'm Danny Martin. I am from Chase City, Virginia. I was born in South Boston, Virginia, and I spent most of my life between Chase City and Richmond. The very first band I was ever in was called Cloud 9. I was originally the guitar player in the band, and we didn't have a singer, so they made me sing. That's how I came about singing. I guess the first band I was in was more along the lines of like 90s alternative, because it was in the 90s. But to be quite honest with you, it was more like Hanson or Hootie and the Blowfish. I was about 16 years old, and I was the guitar player for that band. We didn't have a singer at the time, so I gave it a try, and that's pretty much where I got my start singing at. And then after that, I joined a band by the name of Headstone, who had this awesome bass player named Zach Elliott in it, by the way. Yeah. Who later followed me to 5-Leaf Clover. Alright, well, I was at the Chase City Bike Show a couple years ago, and I ran into Mike Lawrence, who is our drummer currently. And we just talked and texted each other for a couple months, and then all of a sudden he came out the blue and said he had put a band together and he would like for me to try out as a singer. I showed up, and they liked what I did. We wrote a song the very first night. The rest is history. I've always loved music. It's always been a part of my life, as far back as I can remember. Actually, the very first person that ever struck my interest in rock and roll music at all was my Uncle Kevin, rest in peace. You know, I was about 10 years old, and I remember going to Richmond, and he'd be sitting in his bedroom ripping out Sweet Child of Mine or Welcome to the Jungle, you know. And I would sit there and was amazed by it. You know? And yeah, that made me push for it. I try my best to keep positive with my writing. You know, even if the song is depressing or dark, or even if it has a underlying negative meaning, at some time in the song I try to find a point of light or something that gives you a little hope. Lyrically, one of my favorite songs would be Things Don't Change, They Never Will. It's about how I met this girl, and in the beginning everything seemed like it was okay. It seemed like it was going to go well. Things slowly started to change and get worse and get worse, and you know, like I was saying a minute ago, I felt like I was on a leash. I felt like a dog on a leash. I couldn't go anywhere or do anything without keeping in checks with her. Ain't nowhere to live. Nobody should have to live like that. So instead of keeping it going, stretching the shit out, waiting for somebody's feelings to get hurt, I decided to walk away. Well, my hopes with this band are that we will accomplish at least a couple good albums, and hopefully to get noticed. And you know, I've said it a million times before, man, even if we were to become a one-hit wonders are something that'll never fucking be forgotten. It's you know, it'll always be there, man, you know, no matter what. So I'd be cool with that, but I would like to see us go further and make a couple good records of, you know, good music that the people of the world will like. And aside from that, once the band thing's over with, I'd like to have my own restaurant. It may seem boring, but I like being at home. I like chill time with my son. You know, I like movies. I like being able to sit down and enjoy a good movie and not have to worry about talking to people. You know, that may seem crazy to want to be a rock star, but not to want to talk to people, but you know, I like my alone time. My kid, I might as well have pooped him out, man. He's just like me. He loves music. You know, he loves most everything that I love. My kid thinks this band is awesome. He really does. And not only that, his little buddies at daycare have also checked us out online, and they like us too, man. So we got the 7-year-olds on our side. Woohoo! You know? Most of my songwriting abilities, skills, whatever you say, come from the fact that, you know, I had a hard life growing up. I was abused. I got the shit beat out of me on a regular basis, you know what I mean? And a lot of those memories stick with you, you know what I mean? A lot of my past life sticks with me. You can't get rid of that shit, you know, and it comes out, you know. Basically what I'm trying to say is it's better to get it out instead of hold it in, you know. I would say a lot of my past troubles come out in my lyrics and in my songwriting. Alright, one of the things that shines through and that I'm really looking forward to is actually, after all these freaking years of being in bands that sucked and fell apart, and even if they didn't suck, you know, they fell apart, they didn't work out, and it was mainly because there weren't people in the band serious enough. I'm really hopeful and really glad to be at the point we are right now, because we are ready to record a CD. You know, and that's the closest I've ever been to it. If I could give a little piece of advice to the youth of America, I would like to say, you know, do your best to stay away from drugs and cigarettes and alcohol and all that, because you're going to live a better life without it, you know. And There's too many 16-year-olds in the world pregnant. Y'all need to keep your tallywackers in your pants. You know what I mean? Wait till you're an adult, you know. I wish I could take it back, because if I could, I'd still be a virgin. Psych. Psych. After all these years of wasting time in bands, I'm glad we are finally on a good one. You know, I'm glad it seems like things are happening, and if they keep going, straight to the top, baby. All right, wasted years. Gets back, or it hints back rather, to what I was talking about earlier about all the bands that we've been in the past. You know, which we wrote a lot of good music in a lot of those bands, and you know, it's a shame that they ended like they did. But looking back, they were wasted years, they were wasted time, and you know, hopefully for a change, this time we're not wasting time. This time it's gonna be real.
This is it, y'all. We're missing the last round. Time is coming, we must advertise this life. No more wasted years.